Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV. In a new edition of our online interview series, we want to get an update from gold mining, and we have Alastair Still here, the CEO, with us. Hey, good morning, and you are in Florida, in Boca Raton today at Rick Rule's great conference. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Great to see you.
Super to be here. Thanks for having me on today. I'm very happy to provide an update on gold mining today.
Yeah, that's super. Let me also say first upfront, I'm a shareholder in the company, of course. And this is a really fantastic play when you are looking for gold, for copper, but also for uranium. And I must say, I was really happy today because you brought out good news from your São Jorge project in Brazil. And I think it's a second round of good drill results. So what means that?
Well, it's a very exciting time on São Jorge, one of the key projects. In fact, actually part of the foundation of our company when we started as Brazil Resources. São Jorge was a cornerstone asset, and very excited to say this is the first drill program at São Jorge since 2011. So excited that we're finally drilling. We have two press releases now announcing some very exciting results, including over 160 meters at over 1 gram per ton gold was announced, and some higher grade intervals within that. So we're very encouraged by that. This is mineralization near surface in an open pitable style deposit, and it's a tremendous emerging district as well. We're very excited about that.
Great. And I think this is also quite shallow. So would that mean that could be an open pit in the future?
Yes, absolutely. The mineralization is occurring within tens of meters of surface, so it's very, very close to surface. We've seen some recent exciting news in the district. G Mining announced their first gold pour at Tocantinzinho, which is just up the road. And I remind people about São Jorge. It's got a paved highway, less than 3 kilometers from our camp and our offices there. And there's a full-scale transmission line, 138 kV transmission line running by the property too. So great infrastructure with a resource coming to surface. Very exciting times there.
Fantastic. So if we put that a little bit into perspective, I mean, I know Ami a long time, and as he is the founder of gold mining, and I was always pushing him a little bit and said, hey, listen, this is the perfect setup. Why don't you bring it into production? Why don't you push it forward? I mean, you have the great company, what is it called? Brazil Invest, I think it's called, with Mr. Garnero. You have them also on board. I mean, they could easily go to be part of the financing, as far to my understanding. So is that maybe now a game plan with gold at 2,350, 2,400, approaching maybe very soon here, 2,600, 2,700? I could imagine that would generate tremendous margins, right?
Absolutely. And I think we're at the point in the market where we've been telling everyone the story about São Jorge with the 46,000 hectare exploration package, the infrastructure, the resource that's there. I think it's now actually time to show people. And I think that's why it's exciting. We've done the drill program. We've drilled over 1,000 meters. We've done it safely without accident or incident. So we've demonstrated that. The drill results are coming in. We've had 3 of the first 5 holes released, and the next set of drill holes, we've stepped out more than 1 kilometer from known mineralization. So we're into new charted territory there. So absolutely, I think it's a great project. We've been saying that for a while, but now it's all about showing people and demonstrating it.
Okay, super. So what would be the plan, let's say, also for next year to push that really further to a production decision? How fast do you think? I know hypothetical, it's a forward-looking statement, of course, for the regulators. But what could we see, let's say, in a conservative time frame? Would this be something which could be by the end of the decade really good, well in production?
Well, I think one of the things we have to consider at São Jorge, of course, is we don't really know the extent of how big it can be. And before we lock ourselves into a production decision, I think let's try and see some of the upside potential on this. And as we start drilling the project, as we test the known mineralization, as we start probing along the margins, I think a key question is how big can this be? And once we determine that size, it then makes it a project that not only is for our eyes, but lots of other bigger companies are starting to look at this district now, saying, hey, what's the potential here? Maybe they're only scratching the surface. We have a 1.4 kilometer strike length that has been drilled, but the property extends for tens of kilometers. So how big can this be? That's a key question we'd like to answer, and certainly the bigger companies are now starting to think about as well.
So that could be also that you sell it to or you partner with something by big, right?
That we can't control, but I know that other people are looking for
Yeah.
projects, and we know that the bigger
Hmm.
companies are looking to fill gaps in development
Hmm.
pipelines and project pipelines. I say this is a great
Hmm.
district with infrastructure there, with great
Hmm.
exploration
Yeah, I
potential.
think.
It checks a lot of
Yeah, I
boxes.
think. Yeah, that is really key because it saves a lot of money when you want to construct it,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Super. Okay, then let's move to the next thing here because your subsidiary, US Gold Mining, I think they brought out the highest drill intercept to date at the Whistler Gold Copper Project in Alaska. So what's going on there?
Well, exactly. I'm glad you highlighted that hole because we announced those drill results earlier this year, and it was
Hmm.
actually a spectacular result for us. We'd never seen mineralization that extensive and high grade and that continuous for almost a 600-meter interval from surface. This is the
Hmm.
important thing. It does go to surface, but interestingly enough, that hole, which was 600 meters depth, it ended in mineralization. So part of the
Hmm.
campaign we're underway with right now is how deep does the system go? We envision it as an open pit style of deposit, but it could transform into a deeper underground deposit as well.
Hmm.
Many of these style gold copper porphyries transform that way. I'm pleased to say that the exploration program for 2024 is now underway. It's got off and running safely. We're actually 2 months ahead of where we were last year with prepping the drill and getting the first crews to site. So the first hole is well underway, and we can be looking forward to some exciting drill results from our Whistler gold copper
Hmm.
project in Alaska.
Okay, fantastic. Do you still need to fund anything there, or are they completely independent in that sense that you only hold a part of the
I mean,
stocks?
that was the beauty of spinning the asset into its own
Hmm.
public vehicle. It was able to raise its own money on NASDAQ, and so that's USGO. So US Gold Mining is fully funded for the exploration this year. Gold Mining does not need to contribute to that. We own
Hmm.
about approximately 80% of the equity in the stock
Still,
in that company.
okay.
And so
Hmm.
we get great exposure. Should they have
Hmm.
impressive results and should that show an increase in the equity, Gold Mining and Gold Mining shareholders will also benefit from that.
Okay, super. Okay, now we are talking already about holdings and cash. What is, first of all, cash in the bank? What do you need for São Jorge? Meaning, are you financed for today? And I think you still have like a $50 million shelf prospect, like an ATM in place, right?
Yes, we do. So the drilling at San Jorge, the drilling's been funded and it's completed. So no additional cash is needed for that program at San Jorge. We're really processing assay results now. The company last quarter had approximately 18 million in cash and cash equivalents on the balance
Hmm.
sheet. So we have a healthy balance sheet. And remember, the balance sheet is also shored up by equity holdings, major equity holdings
Hmm.
in Gold Royalty Corporation, US Gold Mining Inc., and Nev
Hmm.
Gold. Amongst those three
Hmm.
companies, it's almost at last reporting in our presentation in July, it was approximately $150 million in cash
Hmm.
and equity. So that's a significant component on our balance sheet that really gives us strength moving forward, what a lot of companies don't have in this market. So we're in a
Hmm.
good position on that front,
Yeah.
ready and are funded for our activities.
Okay, super. So let's come then to the activities. We spoke about Sao Jorge. What other activities are you planning for the second half of the year, which has started now?
Yeah, well, I think as we go through the results at San Jorge, we may look at doing additional work there. And if there's follow on activity, we'll be announcing that. Of course, the drilling results coming out of the Whistler, US Gold Mining as well. We're keeping a close watch there. But kind of the
Hmm.
wild card in our portfolio, and I know you like to reference it as that as well, is our Rea Uranium project. We
Yeah.
continue to do work on this project, which is in the Athabasca Basin in Alberta, Canada, home to some of the highest grade uranium deposits on the planet. It's a very large and prospective land package, 125,000 hectares. It has known uranium occurrences on the property. We've actually now engaged with the stakeholder engagement program. We've submitted permits for
Hmm.
being ready to initiate drilling on that project. So we're getting the wheels in motion to advance it. We can advance it ourselves. It is attracting attention from other uranium companies, which we thought it would in that jurisdiction. And of course, we've got the experience of potentially spinning it into a new vehicle as well. We've done that before, so that could
Aha.
also unlock value if we go that path for gold mining shareholders.
Or would you maybe sell it to the junior partner Orano?
Uh, well, Arano is our junior partner. In this case, it's difficult calling the senior company the junior partner, but they do own 25%, and that's a decision
Yeah.
I can't make for them. But I know that this type of project, and with the news that we've been announcing on it, it is attracting attention from other companies as well who are looking to expand their land holdings in this district. And I think we talk to anyone in the uranium space. There's a lot of people think there's a pretty bright future for uranium, particularly
Hmm.
towards the greening of the economy and the fueling and energy needs for the future really can be met
Hmm.
by uranium. So it's an important element, which I think has a very upward trajectory forecast for it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm also a super uranium bull, as you know, and I discussed it like 2 weeks ago with Scott Melby, and I will talk to Amir in approximately 3 weeks. And yeah, we see it really coming. I mean, there is this structural deficit is there, and it will not diminish for the next 10 years, easily, maybe 20 years. Yeah,
Exactly.
and so from that perspective, the Rea project can only get more value,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
And I think it's everyone thinks of the past of Gold Mining Inc. and they think of it being as a company rich in resources and gold resources. And yes, we absolutely are. With 12.5 million gold equivalent measured indicated ounces, an additional 9.7 million inferred gold equivalent ounces. It's a
Hmm.
sizable portfolio. But remember, along with that gold, there's a significant exposure to copper. Almost 18% of the commodity exposure is through copper, and copper occurs with gold at three of our deposits. And then we just
Hmm.
talked about uranium. So, quite a trio of exposure investors can get with gold mining, primarily to gold,
Yeah.
but with bonus copper and uranium exposure as well.
Absolutely. So it's a extremely good diversified investment to be made here. That's great. Maybe can you give us one word on the situation? Colombia, is there all fine? Are you satisfied? Things are moving
Yeah,
well?
absolutely. Colombia is an exciting jurisdiction. In fact, I'm going to be in Colombia next week with our
Hmm.
team and our projects there, looking at our next steps forward. And there's certainly a lot of interest in those projects in Colombia. And in fact, all three of our projects in Colombia have significant occurrences of copper as well, and certainly copper being strategic to the regulatory authorities and the government
Hmm.
in Colombia. That's always a
Hmm.
positive for permitting and stakeholder engagement, having a strategic metal occurring with the gold. So, very encouraged about Colombia. We're continuing to look for additional opportunities there to grow our resources, fine tune that PEA study. And remember that PEA study we announced just last year on La Mina
Yeah.
was run at a
Hmm.
$1,750 gold price, and it looked
Yeah.
pretty good.
Looks different today.
Oh, absolutely. It looks better at 1975 and 2350. It goes to another
Yes,
level
exactly.
altogether. So
Yeah.
lots of
Yeah.
upside on metal prices, lots of upside on exploration potential. Still has us very excited about that portfolio in Colombia.
Mhm. Super. So that means in that second half we can yeah expect a lot of news, hopefully good news moving forward on that. And yeah, maybe the big uranium chokeria. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the fundamentals for the company are stronger than ever. We've got a
Hmm.
strong balance sheet with cash and equities. We've having
Yeah.
great success with the exploration drill bit. We've got exposure to gold with a bonus exposure to copper and uranium. I think it's a great time to be an investor in Gold Mining Inc.
Fantastic. That was a great final word. Thank you very much, Alistair. And yeah, wish you all the best. Enjoy it in Boca Raton, and hopefully you have a lot of good meetings and get new investors involved here. And yeah, say hi to Rick Rule, please.
Absolutely. Always my pleasure to be on today,
Super.
Jochen. You take care. We'll speak again soon.
Thank you very much. That's how we do it. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Alastair Still, the CEO of GoldMining, and you heard it. Things are moving extremely well. Brazil is really on the track, and as I said it several times, my feeling is here that we get here within the next years into a great production scenario. But as Alastair said, yeah, first let's find out how large that whole thing is. But I think at a certain time point, maybe somebody will step in here, or maybe will partner, and or they do by themselves the production decision. We will see, because fantastic numbers so far. And the big uranium joker with the Rea Uranium project. And don't forget, Orano is the junior partner. So from that side, there's also a lot going on, and in Whistler also. So the company is well set up. Check it out. Make sure you are a shareholder. I am in. You should be too. Thanks for watching us, and bye bye from Switzerland today.